for the World Series. Semien pulls one down the line, hooking fair into the corner. Now Seager to right center field, way back there. Gone again. Corey Seager does it again. The Rangers ahead 7-0. And now Semien crushes a ball back to left field. Curry out of the wall. Goodbye. It is a rout in Game 4. High fly ball to deep right field. Jonah Heim's first hit of the World Series is a home run. Gurriel hits this ball hard. Deep left field. It is gone. Foul ground. That is caught by Lowe. And that does it for Game 4.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Game 5 pregame show here from Arizona, where the Texas Rangers are up 3-1 in this series and have an opportunity tonight to do something that they have never, ever done before. I am joined, as always, by Alex Curry. Alex, we could see history here tonight. We could see the continuation of this series tonight. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm excited for it.
I mean, the vibes are extremely high here in this stadium already. As you mentioned, the Rangers are looking to make history. They already made history last night with their 10th postseason win. They are undefeated on the road, the longest streak in postseason history. But they are looking to end their World Series draft here tonight. They can punch their ticket with a win here tonight. How do they get it done?
Well, they need to finish the job. Look, you're up 3-1 and on the verge, as you mentioned, of your first World Series title in franchise history. Now, teams that go up 3-1 in the World Series have gone on to win the series 87.2% of the time. 41 of 47 tries when up 3-1, they go on to win. So the odds are very much so in your favor to pull this off. But that starts here tonight. You have the D-backs in an uncomfortable spot, and you don't want to give them any hope. You need to cut off their head.
Whoa.
Right now.
Aggressive.
Cut it off.
Aggressive.
You can't give them any hope. Why? Well, they haven't been here yet in the playoffs. In a 7-game series, down 3-1, in a really bad spot, they haven't. They've had their backs against the wall. They lost the first 2 in Philly, but then they won the next 2 here. So then they go down 3-2, and they have to win 2 in a row in Philly to advance to the World Series. So they haven't been down 3-1, but if they win this game tonight, then they're back in comfortable territory. So right now, they are uncomfortable. They're in a spot they haven't been, and you need to cut off their head right now. The head of the snake, not the players, the snake, the hypothetical snake. Cut it off. Now, how are they going to do that? Well, you have your ace on the mound, one of the best pitchers in playoff history, Nathan Eovaldi. The Rangers have won all 5 games that Nathan Eovaldi has started this postseason. In 5 starts, 4-0, 30 2/3 innings pitched, and an ERA of 3.52. It starts with him. You have a chance to win the World Series, and you have a chance to do that with your best pitcher on the mound. I talked to John Smoltz earlier. You'll hear from him in a little while. But what he said is when you have an opportunity like Nathan Eovaldi has tonight, you walk in the locker room thinking, this series is over. We're World Series champions. And that's the mindset that Nathan Eovaldi has to come into this game with tonight. Corey Seager, well on his way, as of right now, to winning World Series MVP. He has to step up and continue to be as good as he has been really this entire postseason. It started from Game 1. Let's not forget, the Rangers aren't winning Game 1 if it wasn't for Corey Seager's late inning heroics that allowed them to win that first game. Now he's on his way to MVP. He'd be the first player to win World Series MVP in both the American and National League ever. Just the second player to win World Series MVP on 2 different teams. A lot of history on the line here tonight, one way or another. But again, the supporting cast needs to step up. Corey Seager's been doing it for half of the ALCS and all of the World Series at this point, and he had Adolis Garcia doing the same thing. Well, Adolis Garcia is out for the World Series now. We're not going to see him anymore. So somebody else has to step up. The rest of the supporting cast has to step up. Last night, it was Marcus Semien. It was Josh Jung. It was Travis Jankowski. It was Jonah Heim. They went 6 for 12 with 6 runs scored and 3 RBIs in Game 4. Can we expect that from them again tonight? I don't think you need that from them. They put up 11 runs. You just need production from them, production that you hadn't been getting all postseason, all World Series long, really. But you got that last night. They need the supporting cast to step up if they want to win their first World Series in franchise history. But one of those guys of the supporting cast, Josh Jung, who had a fantastic season. He was the AL Rookie of the Year frontrunner until he got hurt at about the halfway mark of the season. Caught up with him pregame. Let's check that out. Josh, thanks for joining us, man. Congrats on the great series so far. Good night last night as well. You guys on the road have been incredible this postseason. 10-0, it's an all-time record. Nobody's ever done what you guys are doing. How do you begin to explain the success that you guys have had on the road?
Truly have no idea. Because if you look at our track record in the regular season, you'd have thought the complete opposite. I don't know if it's just a comfort in silencing the crowd on the road, hearing the boos and embracing it. I don't know. I don't know, and I can't really pinpoint what it is, but it has been a lot of fun.
Corey Seager has been one of the few guys on this team who has been here before and who has won a World Series, and he is leading by example. What has he meant to this team both on and off the field?
Everything. The emotion he's showing on the field, you don't really see a whole lot, and in this situation, it's just like, wow, that gets us pumped up even more. But in the clubhouse, the way he goes about his stuff, he does his routine. He's very disciplined, very strict with what he does, but also like showing his personality, playing cards. Like his routine does not change regardless of the day, and I think that's what we've all kind of learned being in this situation is like we've played cards all year. Why would we change in the playoffs? And yeah, that's what we've learned from him so far.
So for a guy that never shows emotion, when he hits that homer in Game 1 and shows all that emotion, everybody in the dugout has to be like, oh shit, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think the first time we saw it was Game 7 when he hit a homer in the first inning, and he comes around crushing everybody's hands, because normally he's just like barely giving you a high five, and he's crushing everyone's hands, getting us all pumped up. And when he does that, I mean, it gets all of our juices flowing, regardless of the situation. And I mean, that's our leader. One of our leaders, and when he does that, it's just like, here we go.
Another guy that's been vital in you guys being here is Adolis Garcia, and you never want the guy to go down and get injured, obviously, but it did happen. And it seemed like last night you guys rallied around that situation, and everybody came out firing. And he said he talked to you guys in the locker room. One, what did he say? And two, what was the vibe after he talked to you guys?
Yeah, so we had our hitters meeting, and he stood up and pretty much said, hey, I'm not going to be able to go. I guess he took some swings and he wasn't feeling very good, and basically told us, hey, we've been doing this all year. If someone's going down, we pick them up. I need you guys to pick me up, and that's exactly what it felt like we did. I mean, Jay Kowski stepping in and having the game he had last night is just incredible after a guy that's had one at bat, I think, in the postseason, maybe two, and it's just like, wow. For Adolis to say that, to stand up in front of the group, like, you know it's hard, you know it's killing him, it's hurting his heart, it's hurting all of our hearts. But I mean, that's what you do. It's next man up mentality, and just so proud of Janko for his performance last night.
Now, as you mentioned, you guys have been doing this all year. It has been an unbelievable run for this Rangers team, but does tonight feel a little different, knowing that you have a chance to clinch the first World Series title in franchise history?
We're all not letting ourselves go there, truly. We're just trying to take it one game at a time, and like the way we went to bed last night, it's just another baseball game tomorrow. It's game 180, whatever it is at this point. Because if you let your mind go there, you can start making the moment more than it is and trying to do too much. And we're all just trying to stay within ourselves, stay within our approach, keep passing the baton to the next guy, and try to keep this thing rolling.
Good luck, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me.
I love hearing Josh say, oh, what have you learned from Corey Seager? Oh, we just play cards. We've been playing cards all year long, so we're just going to continue to play cards. And it really did feel like business as usual on the field today, on both sides during batting practice. We heard it from Josh Jung. We heard it from Evan Longoria, who we talked to on the D-backs. But there's a little more pressure here tonight for the D-backs. It is a must-win. It is win or go home, do or die. How do they keep this series alive?
Well, they have to, and that's been their slogan all postseason long, is snakes alive. Well, the snakes are alive, but barely. You gotta keep fighting, and it starts with nobody you'd rather more than Zach Gallen. He's your ace. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He has to be great tonight. Not perfect, because that's when you can start getting a little ticky-tacky and trying to do too much, and then next thing you know, you're going to have a short leash tonight. Next thing you know, you're out of the ball game. He has to be great. Now the Bats have to reclaim what they did from game one of this series, and that's go out against one of the best postseason pitchers we've seen in Nathan Eovaldi and put up some good numbers against him. Let's not forget, I mentioned it for the Rangers as a positive. The D-backs would have won that game if it wasn't for Corey Seager.
Yep.
So game one should give you a bit of confidence going into today. Now it does give you that confidence because a lot of those players in this lineup tonight had success. And when you're able to have success off of a pitcher, that does carry into your next at-bats off of a guy. So Nathan Eovaldi in game one went 4 2/3 and gave up 5 runs in that game. So offense obviously needs to step up. Who? Corbin Carroll and company need to step up. It starts with Corbin Carroll because he's been the MVP of this team this year. On away games, they've played more games on the road in the postseason than at home, and in those away games, 10 of them, he's hit .385 with 15 hits and 10 runs scored. Home games, you ask? 6 of those games, and he's hitting .087 with only 2 hits. So, the Diamondbacks are 5-0 this postseason when Corbin Carroll records multiple hits in a game. That's pretty close to perfect, if you ask me. Don't do too much if you're Corbin Carroll, but just get back to what you were doing all year long. You had one of the best, most exciting rookie seasons in the history of baseball. You don't need to do more now that you're at home in the World Series. Do what you've been doing. And I think we could see him do that tonight. But this offense goes as he goes. We did see Christian Walker finally heat up last night, got 3 hits. Evan Longoria as well needs to start heating up. He's back in the lineup here tonight. He needs to heat up. He has really struggled so far this postseason and this World Series. Back in the lineup, need to see some production out of him because this lineup doesn't feel very deep right now. It feels like you have the top few guys, and then once you get through Tommy Pham, and now we can add Christian Walker because he got 3 hits last night, then you're just searching for production. They need Evan Longoria to step up and be that veteran presence in the lineup that he can be. And nobody else can do it. It's got to be this offense. It's do or die time right now. You got to leave it all out there. It's cliche, right? Leave it all out there. But it's cliche for a reason. You got no other option but to win. And they have done that in elimination games this postseason. 2-0 in elimination games. Both of those came against the Phillies. But Alex, we caught up with Evan Longoria earlier to talk about what they need to do, and he talked about those cliche answers, and he also talked about how proud he is of this young team. Let's check that out.
Evan, first off, thanks for joining us, man. As a veteran of this team and one of 2 guys that has played in the World Series on this team, how proud are you of these guys?
I'm pretty proud. I mean, I think in terms of all of the teams that I played on, all the things that we've accomplished as teams, it's definitely up there in terms of I think more the outside expectation versus internal expectation, right? Like I don't think anybody expected us to be here. Of course, we came into spring believing that we could. But nonetheless, I mean, a huge accomplishment for this group. And, just in pregame before, there's no, quit, there's no, down 3-1, so what, there's still a ton of belief in that clubhouse.
So on that note, as someone who has been here before, being the veteran and having that mindset that no one thought you could be here, what was the advice that you kind of gave this young core during this playoff run?
I think there's a misconception that I'm this sage old, wise man that's in there giving talks every day about, my experiences. And, we've leaned on some of the coaches that have been around. Dave McKay's been a huge influence on the group. He's given us some great advice throughout the postseason. Torrey, obviously, Jeff Bannister, been there before, so we've, as a group, I think, in the playoffs, have leaned more so on the experience of the coaching staff. And just kind of rallied around each other as a group.
You guys are no stranger to being down in the playoffs, specifically in Philly.
Yeah.
Down 2 early, then had to go on the road and win 2 there.
How do you guys come back out of a hole down 3-1? It's got to feel like we've been there. We are able to do that. What's the plan going forward?
Yeah, I mean it's basically just all the cliche answers, right? Like, but at this point of the season, it's more important than ever. You know, really trying to battle every pitch. You know, remaining in the moment. Whenever something good or bad happens, just trying to remain as focused as possible, as even keel as possible. You know. Last night we got punched in the face pretty quickly in that game, and it felt like there was a little bit of deflation, in the dugout. And sometimes that happens, right? Like it's a huge game, and we get down quick. But I thought towards the end of the game the at-bats got better, and that has to be something that we do from the very beginning. First inning on.
When you have a guy like Corbin Carroll on this team who's having an incredible rookie season, an all-star season, and then gets to a moment like this in the playoffs, has never been here before, and to see him lead by example, what has he really meant to this team? I
mean, he's meant, just about everything. Him and Cattell have carried us through the postseason for the most part, and man, it's so impressive to see, somebody I think he's like 22 or 23, just come on to the big stage. And I think it's kind of crazy that, now I know we make sort of a big deal out of it, but like, it's so hard to describe how hard what he is doing right now on the biggest stage is. We see so many young players come up now and excel in the big leagues, and I think we take it a little bit for granted, like, oh, they should do that, but like, how few guys are at 23 years old doing what he's doing,
Evan, appreciate it, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an elimination game. A guy like Evan Longoria is not going to be overwhelmed out there tonight. And Alex, neither is a guy like John Smoltz, who pitched in plenty of elimination games, both on the good side and on the bad side. Caught up with him earlier to talk all about it.
John, Game 5 here tonight. 3-1 series now. Rangers have a chance here tonight to win their first ever World Series in franchise history. As a guy that pitched in many clinching games on one side or another, what do you do tonight if you're the Rangers? Do things change on the mound for Nathan Eovaldi out there?
Oh, they change big time. I mean, you got a 3-1 game lead, but you want to close it out and you want to have the pedal to the metal. And certainly you'll have a longer leash when you're on the plus side of a series than you are if you're pitching against elimination. So he's going to have the same game plan. He's going to want to get out to establish his fastball and split, and then let his team, whoever takes the lead, wins the series. It's that simple. They're both undefeated. It's kind of numbers are beyond belief when you get to this level. Road wins and scoring first.
So something I've been thinking about a good bit over the last, 24 hours. D-backs are down 2-1 in a series, and they go with a bullpen game. And I just feel like that wouldn't used to happen. You would have guys go into the manager's office and say, I won the ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw tonight. And then you go out and have a bullpen game and end up giving up 11 runs. And next thing you know, now it's 3-1. What are your thoughts on that? Would this have happened back in the day? Just, okay, we're going with our bullpen.
No, it's constructed differently, and you had 5 starters. The 5th starter never pitched. He went in the pen. The 4th starter pitched in game 4s all the time. But I think due to injuries and certain styles and philosophies, this is what we get. And they were successful against the Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm sure they thought they'd be successful against the Texas Rangers. My only statement has always been, you're asking 7 guys to be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no flow, there's no rhythm, and if they're good, then it feels good, and it's a chess match, and it feels good when it works. It is the worst feeling in the world when it doesn't, and that's unfortunately what they had happen. It got away from them quick, and there's no slowing that down in a game like this.
All right, well, let's get to the pitching matchups tonight because both these teams have their aces on the mound. You got Nathan Eovaldi, who the Rangers have played extremely well every time that he's pitched. And then you have Zach Gallen. What are you expecting to see from both these guys tonight?
I'm expecting both of these guys to step up. The Diamondbacks got to Nathan Eovaldi a bit in game 1 of this series. I don't quite expect that to happen again. I saw them put up some runs, and we haven't seen that from Nathan Eovaldi yet this postseason. I expect him to settle back down tonight, have a really good performance. Zach Gallen on the other side of things, I expect more of the same from him. He got hit around a bit in the first inning of game 1 of this series. I think both of these guys settle in tonight, have a really good start. Zach Gallen is going to have a shorter leash here tonight because of the levity of the situation, right? It's a do or die. Every game left in this series is a game 7 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. There's no way around that. Game 7, and real Game 7. That's the way they're going to have to treat it, and Zach Gallen's going to have to pitch that way tonight. But I caught up with John Smoltz about the pitching matchup.
Game 5 tonight, we get back to the Game 1 starters. We got Nathan Eovaldi on the mound against Zach Gallen. One of the better pitching matchups of the postseason. What are you looking forward to there tonight?
Well, the biggest thing is for Zach Gallen in an elimination game, he doesn't have to be perfect. Don't play with the mindset you got to be perfect. He has to go back to what he does well, and that's locate his fastball. He did a better job after inning 1 in his first game, settled down, gave him a chance to win. He will not have a leash as long as Vivaldi. And so I like pitching in elimination games, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. And I learned that being at the moment of location more important than stuff and velocity. And I'll be interested to see the velocity RPM of Zach Gallen. We already know what Eovaldi's going to do. It's pretty simple. Fastball, attack with strikes, splits, swing and miss, and he's going to try to get and attack their offense.
You pitched in plenty of elimination games. Zach Gallen does it here tonight. Is it something where it's going to be difficult on Zach Gallen worrying about, if I give up one run here, I'm out of this ballgame?
Yeah, and that's the mindset you have to battle. If I had just to put a blueprint is, don't try to pitch perfect, but make every pitch as good as you can, right? Like, that's hard to do. So what I've done is simplify it by saying I'm just batters away from being taken out of the game. Don't give my manager a reason for it to be earlier than normal. He will have a short leash. They have guys ready to pitch in the bullpen, and so as long as his rhythm is good and he's doing what he's capable of doing, this guy has every weapon to combat the great offense that Texas has. If he can come out in the first inning and give his chance in the first 2 innings, his team a chance to get the lead, then it's a good thing.
And Nathan Eovaldi on the other side of things, is it more fun? Do you get a little more ramped up knowing you got a 3-1 lead in this series? You're the number 1. You get to go with a chance to pitch this team to their first ever World Series.
Yeah, I mean, these are the games that I could say it now. I wouldn't say it publicly then, but I would come into the locker room and say, it's over, boys. Like, we're going to be champs. I mean, when you have a chance to knock on the door and crash it open, that's what you want to do. You want to establish yourself that you are the tougher pitcher and you have the better opportunity because you're up 3-1. It doesn't always work that way, but it's a lot better to pitch up 3-1 than it is down 3-1.
Flyover just happened. We're ready. You can feel this crowd get ready right now. So real quick, let's get to the Rangers lineup. Similar to last night, who's your player to watch?
Very similar. I'm watching Josh Jung tonight. Again, almost AL Rookie of the Year this year. Injuries kind of derailed that. Really good night last night when he needed to step up the most. He did. Can he continue that and be the piece that the Rangers need him to be?
My player to watch is Corey Seager. He is one of the guys on this team who has been here before. He has won a World Series before. He has won a World Series MVP before. He knows what it takes to get the job done, and he needs to be that leader once again here tonight. So let's get to the Diamondback side. Who's your player to watch?
It's Zach Gallen. The season rests on his shoulders right now.
Yeah.
He's your ace. He's on the mound, and this Game 5 that's essentially a Game 7, you can't be anything other than great.
Yeah.
They need him to be great, and I'm watching him tonight.
Speaking of being great, my player to watch is Corbin Carroll, and Corbin needs to be great. Yes, he's a rookie, but he is a leader on this team. We heard Evan Longoria talk about he means everything to this team. So if he plays well, the rest of this team will follow. Big one here tonight, deciding factor.
Deciding factor for me is if the Diamondbacks can get to Nathan Eovaldi. They did in Game 1, and they had that game in their grasp. Can they do it again tonight? Here's John Smoltz also on the deciding factor.
John, final game here in Arizona. No matter what happens tonight, I need your deciding factor of the game here tonight.
I think, again, when I'm looking at this series, this is a young Arizona team. It's showing itself when things shock their system. Things have unraveled quickly. They have to be able to not pay attention to the noise, not pay attention to the narrative. They can't let one thing snowball. And if you look at this series, that's how it's gone. Wild pitch, 5 runs. Don't make a pitch to the hottest hitter, 5 runs.
Yeah.
And I think tonight, the rally cry should be from the Arizona Diamondbacks are, let's play our game. If we play our game, no one can beat us. Be aggressive, be confident, and like their manager says, be humble. But more importantly, handle these things a little better than they have.
Yeah, we saw it again in a little bit last night. Wild pitch earlier in the series, more runs, error at first base, first error of the series. That led to more runs as well. John, appreciate the time as always.
My pleasure.
All right, Ben, I've been asking you all day, but now it's time to give your game prediction. Who is winning tonight and what's the score?
Alex, I think the series goes back to Arlington. Give me the D-backs, baby. Snakes alive. We're going back. 5-2 Diamondbacks.
Please show off
Come
your
on.
sleeves. I am also taking the Diamondbacks tonight because I predicted Rangers in 6, so I need the Diamondbacks to win tonight in order for that to come true. I'm taking D-backs 3-2. Can you give us a little flex in this shirt?
Diamondbacks, baby. The D-backs. How about the Snakes? That does it. Things are off the rails here. Enjoy Game 5, everyone. Texas is up 3-1 with a chance to do something they've never done before, and that's win a World Series. Alex and I will be back post-game live immediately following the game. Enjoy the game, everyone. Watch the first half inning right here, and we will see you all after. Peace.
It's about executing the things you were good at that make you special. And for Zach Gallen, he just needs to be the normal Zach Gallen. He doesn't need to pitch perfect. He needs to do what he did at home. Very comfortable at home. Pitch on the corners of the strike zone, command his fastball. He's going to have a short leash. He knows that, but he doesn't have to be spectacular. He just has to be good at what he does well.
Arizona 7-0 this season when scoring first in the postseason, and a huge part of this game, Torlavelo said, is jumping out in a hurry. On the other side, Corey Seager 2 years ago signed the largest contract in franchise history. That comes with big expectations. He has exceeded those, and he's the biggest reason why they're this close.
Absolutely, and you see this every year. The stars come out, and you have to neutralize them. For Texas, it's been about Seager. Now it's going to be about the collective group. You see what the numbers are and how unbelievable he's been. If you're the Diamondbacks, you cannot pitch to him anymore under circumstances that might drive in runs. So the rest of the lineup's going to have to carry the freight because he has been doing it to this point.
Yeah, it was amazing yesterday. Garcia goes down. They still explode for 11 runs. The game never really was in question as Corey Seager did his thing once again. The Texas Rangers launched in 1972. Their manager was Ted Williams. They've waited this long. And this is a franchise that's been close before. They will not celebrate until the last out is caught. Diamondbacks trying to further their frustrations. But will it happen after a half century? Will the Texas Rangers bring home the hardware? We've got first pitch, Game 5 of the World Series, next on Fox.
Life's a little different for me nowadays. And you could say the same for the Rangers and D-backs.
I had a dream that I just fly away,
Who have endured their own battles to get here and are now racing to become a world champion.
Which makes this a very intriguing World Series.
Like swimming, this game can be decided by the thinnest of margins. Each lap, a battle between yourself and your opponent.
Smashes up. Counterpunch, comebacks. Going again! Twists and turns.
And for those who can rise to the occasion, gold awaits.
Could tie it with one swing.
High drive. Goodbye. Legend. Corey Seager does it again.
Sit back and enjoy. It's Game 5 of the World Series.
Oh, Phoenix native and an expert at winning championships. Michael Phelps getting us going with the 2023 World Series on Fox, presented by Capital One. Just about set for Game 5. We go to the field. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. The night Nathan Eovaldi closed out the division series, Chris Young's wife Liz turned to him and said, "I guess Christmas Eve was worthwhile." Young, the Rangers GM, negotiated Eovaldi's free agent contract up until 11:30 that night, and Liz wasn't happy about it. Well, Eovaldi proved quite the gift. For his career, he is 3-0 with a 1.42 ERA in postseason clinchers, and if he comes up big tonight, he could deliver an early Christmas present to Rangers fans everywhere. The team's first World Series title. Now over to Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Ken. Well, one of the most impactful free agents signed by Chris Young has 2 artificial hips, an artificial knee, and a cranky case of sciatica. Young told Bruce Bochy, "I'm not hiring you because I love playing for you, but to establish a winning culture." 12 months later, Bruce Bochy, at age 68, is back on the doorstep of history. He could become the 6th manager with a 4th World Series title, the first with multiple teams. If the game is in the hands of his bullpen, if the game is close, if the game means closing out a series, as this one does, Bruce Bochy has a knack of finding a way to win. Joe.
Tom Bruce is happy as could be, living in Nashville, spending a lot of time with his grandkids, but then he started to get the itch again. He went and managed the French national team in the WBC qualifiers, and he said, "You know what? I think I want to give this one more shot." And so Chris Young calls him. Little did he know, Boch was waiting for somebody to call. He was ready for another challenge, and he wasn't going to do it if he didn't think it was a team that was ready to win. Here he has them, 1 win away from their first World Championship. And he would be the first to tell you that it's not about him, it's about the players. And how about his star players? At the top of the order, Marcus Semien and Corey Seager have knocked in 10 of the 14 runs in the 2 games here in Phoenix. Then it's the rookie Evan Carter. Mitch Garver bats out of the cleanup spot. DHs. Josh Jung's coming off a 3-hit game. Then it's Lowe and Heim. Leody Taveras trying to snap an 0-for-19 skid. And Travis Jankowski in his first start of the postseason, 2 hits last night, playing in right field in Adolis Garcia's spot. Tonight's FanDuel Live, same game parlay. Need Mitch Garver to record an RBI. He actually has more RBIs than anybody on the Rangers outside of Garcia. And Tommy Pham, who homered against against Nathan Eovaldi in the first game, need him to hit a home run. John, you pitched in 7 elimination games in your career to the tune of a 2 ERA. What's the path forward for Zach Gallen tonight?
The path is not on my watch, right? You know you're going to have a short leash, and the one thing he's got to go back to is his fastball command. That's what makes him special. You got to be able to use your secondary pitches and just have a feel. If your RPM and your velocity starts going through the roof, you know that you're a little bit too amped up. Look, both teams have opposite feelings. Arizona left spring training. They're not ready to end their season yet. Texas been waiting for this a long time. They want this to be the last game. We'll see who executes early, and I would throw out this key. Arizona needs a couple scoreless innings early so they can jump out and get the lead and keep this crowd going.
Well, they have not scored a run over the first 3 innings in the 2 games here. The crowd's been taken out of it. The umpiring crew for Game 5 will line up this way. Brian Knight calls balls and strikes, with crew chief Bill Miller at first base. So 11-7 Texas yesterday. You talk about taking the crowd out of it. 5 runs in the second, 5 runs in the third. now 1 win away from their first World Series title. Now can Arizona keep this dream season alive and send the series back to Texas?
Well, another thing to look for is in the first 3-4 innings, the lighting will be the best it's going to be in this ballpark. Texas scored 10 in the first 3. They only scored 1 after that. And you've seen what they have done when they put up a crooked number. So the key, Simeon's getting hot, and you got to pitch around Seager.
So here we go. Simeon stands in. Zach Gallen, the game 1 starter, takes the ball, trying to keep his team's season going. Off we go with a fastball outside. You're going to be looking for that velocity. Where's that at? You're going to be looking for the location on.
Yeah, outside this, right on the lines of the strike zone, right? The vertical lines, you want to be on those path lanes to have success, because Texas doesn't chase much.
Well, and you might think, hey, I want to see, this power fastball, but that's not him when he's right. Fastball command is his #1 quality. And when he's right, he's as good as anybody. Gallen to Simeon with a 2-0. There's a strike right in the corner. Marcus Simeon, who had knocked in just 2 runs over the first 14 games of this postseason, has driven in 6 the last 2. Homered and tripled yesterday. Flies this one into center field for Alec Thomas.
One of the things to be watching for Zach Gallen today is going to be this changeup working in this direction. He wants it fading away, and if he's got that pitch fading away, he has the chance to neutralize Seager. They're going to try to pound him in with cutters, use the breaking ball away and the changeup away.
Target set away. Seager takes that changeup out there.
And that pitch has got to have tremendous feel. He's a field pitcher. We've talked to his manager, and they said he's connected with the baseball, and when he is, no one's better.
Corey Seager has once again owned the biggest stage. Home runs in 4 of his last 5 games, 6 in the World Series in his career. Gallen shakes a couple times, chooses this for a 1-1 pitch. Pinpoint fastball, strike 2.
So now off of that pitch right there, I think you can come back with a changeup or a breaking ball away. They've got his eyes focused over there. So look for this fastball height, a perfect opportunity if he wants to back it up with a changeup.
Here he comes. It is a breaking ball that's pulled down the line, foul.
Now that breaking ball was supposed to start away and miss over the top. That's where you'll get a swing and miss. But right now, Seager has not missed anything over the middle of the plate. There's the breaking ball. See how it pops out of his hand? Too close to the inside part of the plate.
He has punished just about everything he's got in the zone. There is the changeup. There is Perdomo. There's the second out.
So far, so good, Joe. When he didn't hit his first 2 fastballs to Simeon, he didn't overthrow the next couple. This game will play with your mind in a way as a pitcher that you say, I can't allow a runner. That's not true. I can't allow a run. That's not true. Just make them solo runs. Stay away from the big inning.
Evan Carter, 2 gone first inning. Now the corner with a strike. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Exactly,
right?
because that's the tendency. Is like, oh, we got no room for error. You actually do. You just don't have room for the big number in the inning that the Rangers have absolutely flexed their muscles this postseason with.
Yeah, best big explosion offense throughout the regular season. Again here in the postseason. Zach Gallen and out away though from setting the tone with a first inning 0.
And the other thing you do is you look at these numbers. That's just unbelievable. And the other thing you do, you look at the lineup, and you've already circled in your mind a couple guys you know you can go to if you're in trouble, and you've got to go to those guys that execute. It's not a disrespect to those guys. It's just that you're matched up better against them.
How about against Carter? He doubled against him twice in game 1.
Yes, Carter, he's trying to elevate his eyes, and then he wants to get him to swing over the top of a breaking ball over the middle of the plate. He beat him with 2 fastballs last time. That's the pitch right there. And now he can take that and even start it over the middle of the plate and let it drop down to the bottom. When you see the opportunity of a guy that is so disciplined. You got to make it look like a strike, and you got to end it up down over the plate.
Carter takes time.
What Merrill Kelly did is he counterpunched this great offense by throwing strikes early, and then you could start making him change and swing outside the zone.
He was able to go 7 innings in their lone win in this series. There it is. Got 1, 2, 3 first.
Perfect pitch.